You know that feeling when everyone you love is looking at you like you've lost your mind? That was me, standing in a lawyer's office, pen in hand, about to sign over every single dollar I had saved in 11 years for a gas station. Not a nice gas station, not a promising gas station, a broken down, boarded up ghost of a gas station that hadn't pumped a drop of fuel since the early 90s, the kind of place kids dare each other to go near on Halloween. And I bought it. I bought every inch of that wreck. My name is James. Most people call me Uncle Jay, and this is the truest story I have ever told. It started the year I turned 42. I had been working in logistics for over a decade. Good pay, steady hours, soul-crushing in a way I couldn't explain to anyone without sounding ungrateful. Every Monday morning, I'd sit in traffic, coffee going cold in my hand, and think, there has to be something more than this. Then one afternoon, a buddy of mine, Terrence, sent me a listing, a property auction, commercial land off Route 9, out near Millhaven. He sent it as a joke, I think, wrote, LOL, you could finally open that gas station empire you always talk about. I laughed. Then I clicked the link. Then I stopped laughing. The asking price was $41,000. My savings account had $43,000 and some change. I had been sitting on that money for years, too scared to move it, too cautious to use it, and right there on my screen was a piece of land, a building, a canopy, 6 pump stations for less than what most people spend on a used car. Exhale, I called Terrence back. He thought I was joking. I wasn't. The due diligence took me 3 weeks. I drove out there 4 times, walked the property alone, in the rain, flashlight in hand, trying to find a reason to walk away. The structure was rough, the underground tanks needed inspection, the canopy was rusted at the joints. But the land itself? The land was solid, and it sat at the intersection of 2 county roads that were about to get a traffic expansion project. I had read the county planning documents. Nobody else had. I made an offer. They accepted in 48 hours. That's when I called my family. My mother picked up on the second ring. I told her what I'd done, or what I was about to do, and there was this silence on the line, the kind of silence that feels louder than any argument. Then she said, James, baby, you are throwing your life away. My father got on the phone next. He didn't raise his voice. He never did. He just said quietly, Son, I raised you smarter than this. And my brother Marcus laughed. Not a chuckle, a real, full laugh, like I had just told him the best joke of the year. Then he said, clear as day, You are a hopeless failure, James. Always have been. I love you, but you are going to lose everything. Long pause. I signed the contract 3 days later. Soft. I signed it with my hand shaking and something in my chest that felt, for the first time in years, like fire. The first week I owned that property, I barely slept. I was out there every morning before sunrise, walking the lot, making lists, calling contractors who never called back. I kept a yellow legal pad in my jacket pocket. By day 5, I had filled 31 pages. The convenience store attached to the station, it was small, maybe 400 square feet. Busted tile floor, drop ceiling with 2 panels missing, shelving units still bolted to the walls, like whoever left just walked out mid-shift and never came back. There was still a price tag on one of the shelves, 19 cents for a pack of gum. 1994. I had been avoiding the back storage room. I don't know exactly. Maybe because the door was swollen shut and it took a crowbar to open it. Maybe because I didn't want to find something that would cost me more money I didn't have. But on day 7, exactly 1 week after I signed, I finally went in. The first week I owned that property, I barely slept. I was out there every morning before sunrise, walking the lot, making lists, calling contractors who never called back. I kept a yellow legal pad in my jacket pocket. By day 5, I had filled 31 pages. The convenience store attached to the station, it was small, maybe 400 square feet. Busted tile floor, drop ceiling with 2 panels missing, shelving units still bolted to the walls, like whoever left just walked out mid-shift and never came back. There was still a price tag on one of the shelves, 19 cents for a pack of gum. 1994. I had been avoiding the back storage room. I don't know exactly. Maybe because the door was swollen shut and it took a crowbar to open it. Maybe because I didn't want to find something that would cost me more money I didn't have. But on day 7, exactly 1 week after I signed, I finally went in. There is a moment in every hard thing you will ever do when you have to decide whether the version of yourself that started this journey is the version that finishes it. Long pause. For me, that moment came on a Tuesday in November, 14 months after I signed that contract. I was standing at the edge of my property at 6 in the morning, watching the sun come up over the new canopy. Fresh paint, working pumps, a lit sign, a clean store with actual inventory. A small crew of 3 people I had hired, trusted people from town, unlocking the door for the first morning we would be officially open to the public. I'd done it. Not perfectly, not without setbacks, not without nights where I sat in my truck in that parking lot and seriously considered whether Marcus had been right all along, but I had done it. The first month we were open, we cleared enough to cover operating costs and then some. The traffic expansion came through in month 3, and let me tell you, Route 9 got busy fast. By month 8, I was pulling numbers I hadn't projected for year 2. By month 9, I brought Terrence on as a partner. The man who sent me that listing as a joke was now co-owner of something real. And my family? My mother called me on a Sunday afternoon about 4 months in. She said she had driven past the station with my aunt, said it looked very nice. That was her way. That was enough. My father showed up one Saturday morning without calling first. I saw his truck pull in from the store window. He got out slowly the way he does now that his knees bother him, and he just looked around the lot, looked at the pumps, looked at the sign. Then he came inside, got a coffee, sat at the counter. We didn't talk about the phone call. We didn't need to. He left a 20 on the counter for a $2 coffee, and when I tried to give him change, he waved me off and said, "Keep the lights on, son." I held it together until he drove away. And Marcus? Marcus came about 6 months after we opened. Didn't warn me either. I looked up from the register, and he was just standing there in the doorway, hands in his pockets, looking at everything. I watched him do the math in his head. I watched him see what this place had become. He walked up to the counter. I waited. He said, "James, I owe you an apology." I said, "Yeah, you do." We shook hands. We're not all the way back yet, but we're somewhere, and that's more than I expected. Here's what I want to leave you with, because I know some of you listening right now are standing exactly where I was. You have an idea that people around you think is crazy. You have a dream that someone who loves you has called foolish. You have a number in your savings account and a decision sitting in front of you that terrifies you. I am not here to tell you that it will always work out. I am not going to promise you a storage room of miracles. But I will tell you this. The version of you that does nothing, that version will spend the rest of its life wondering. I emptied my savings account on a run-down gas station, and my family called me a fool. And I left them all speechless.